Oh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna give it a few minutes for people to come in. We had like over 50 people registered, so we want to give everyone a chance to come in. And we've got two options. I think the best option is for somebody to be a volunteer. Hey, Michael. Don, is to volunteer. And to be like, act like you're a buyer client, and Leslie will do the presentation on you, with you.
I can volunteer.
Who said that? Raise your hand. Adam. The if you can, have you ever bought a house, Adam? Or have you bought one yet? Oh, good. Yeah. So ask relevant questions while we're going through this.
Yeah, so absolutely ask questions. You can ask crazy questions. We get a lot of crazy questions up in here. So thank you so much. Is it it's Adon or Adam?
Adon. Yes.
Adon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who here has their real estate license? Yes. All right. People are coming in. I can see your hands. Yeah.
I have my first buyer too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
A little tough though in this market right now, but I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of challenges, but guys, there's challenges in any kind of market. So you just learn what's successful and you go get it done. And that's what, and you got to remember, that's what those clients are like. That's what they're expecting out of you.
100%.
Yeah.
So good. That's congratulations. That's terrific. We might as well just get started, but just to give you guys just a little preview, this buyer presentation is a combination of like decades of me being in this, Leslie being in this, and then we've kind of adjusted it to fit what's going on in the market right now. It's not long. It's very to the point, and in it, you will learn, and what we've done is we've integrated the buyer representation agreement, okay? And we've explained it and we put it in there so that it makes sense to them. They know the features and benefits of it, why it's important, especially in today's market, and which then protects your time and your market expertise and everything like that. So it's just it's a natural progression to a natural closing. Questions always come up. At the end of this, we're going to give you, like, if you want to ask us questions, or if you want to like peel out and talk to operations, or talk to me, or talk on the listings, or you want to talk to Leslie, or we can just have an open forum on what we can do to help you guys. That's what this is all about. This is not a recruiting thing for the team. We're always looking for people, but we're not going to make it about that. All right. This is just so that you have the skills and like the presentations and the tools to be successful. And after this, I'll point you to where you can go get this stuff for free. Sound good?
Thanks, Clay.
Yes, okay, hell yeah, would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. I'm going to turn it over to real quick. Stephanie, raise your hand. That's almost 9 years running the show in the background on the team.
Yeah.
Most of our systems have been developed by this young lady. Most of the reviews come from her and a lady named Christine on the back end of the team that make everything happen from contract to close and bring in the listings alive. Leslie, raise your hand. Senior buyer agent. She's been for us just 2 years. She was licensed for, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 years before that. Amazing addition to the team. She's got agents working with her now. She's got a showing assistant. Tammy, where are you? Can you raise your hand? Are you still there? There you are. They work real closely together. She's developed a pod and kind of a team of buyer agents. That's what it takes to be successful now. It's crazy. Bailey Rubel, raise your hand. Marketing, design, University of Texas cheerleader. Overall, just terrific person. Julia, raise your hand. Fresh from Tennessee/Florida. She's been with us for 6, 7, or 8 months. She's crushing it as a buyer's agent. Cody Waffle, raise your hand. Straight out of Wisconsin. But you didn't know I was going to say Wisconsin when I said straight out of. He's got a lot of momentum going too. Who else is here that's on the team? Adrian, raise your hand. This young man, 18 years old, 19 years old, set his first appointment yesterday.
Yeah. Woo-woo.
Yeah, it was a big win. Big win. So, and there's some other people that are not here. So that's cool. So, all right, I'm going to shut up. Adon, Leslie, Let it rip.
All right. Mr. Ruiz, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I am going to share my screen with you right now, but I want you to keep in mind, this is an open conversation, right? We're looking at this in visuals because it's easier to retain some information that way. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now. If you have any questions, anything like that, please feel free to speak out at any moment and let me know, okay?
Thank you, Leslie. Sure.
All right. So this should only take about 20 to 40 minutes, just depending on how many questions there are. And ultimately, you're going to see why so many people hire us to work for them. My goal for today is to help you understand how to be successful and have a successful buying experience in this market. And of course, to hire us to work for you. So Adon, we have a promise, and that promise is to you that we will deliver a superior customer experience with exceptional communication. This means that we know that we have to exceed your expectations in every aspect of this experience in order to earn a referral from you and a 5-star review by closing. If we don't earn that referral and 5-star review from you, then we'll know that we did something wrong, and we're going to do everything we can to make it right. This also means that we're going to check in with you all along the way to make sure that we're keeping up with that promise throughout this process. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Please ask questions. This is probably my favorite slide. It's okay to ask me the same question 50 times throughout this process, because this is a lot of information and there are tons of variables. I expect you to have and to ask a lot of questions. It's okay to ask questions. Any questions?
Thanks. I think I'll have some coming along, I'm guessing.
I'm sure that you will. So Adon, one of the reasons that so many people hire us to work for them is because we have a highly trained and experienced team to help guide you through every facet of this purchase, all the way through closing. And our elite buyers team helps cover all of your specific needs through the purchase so that you can be successful in today's environment. Adon, this is really what separates us from everyone else. You are hiring an entire team to work for you, where all of us are committed to you.
That's great to know.
Yeah. Now let's review the questionnaire that you filled out on Google Forms.
Mhm.
This is the part, guys, where we would go over 3-bedroom, 2-bath, looking in the Round Rock area, those kind of things. So Adon, thank you so much for going.
Hey, Leslie,
Yeah.
how many, oh, never mind. It's 24-point buyer question. So there's 24 questions or places where they can help you identify what exactly it is that they're looking for. Does it also talk about their motivation?
So we do talk about the motivation prior to this conversation. So yes, that most definitely would have been covered in that 24-point questionnaire. Why are you moving? What's important to you? What does that do for your family? Don't you think you deserve what it is that they're looking for, right? So yes, we go over all of that. So Adon, thank you so much for going back over all of that with me. Now, when we deliver this to you, will we have earned a referral and a 5-star review from you by closing?
Absolutely.
Great. Can you think of anything else that you expect that we haven't covered yet?
I guess what price is it? Is this part of as a new buyer? I don't know what to.
Yeah.
What's the part where do I start? I guess.
It just, is there anything else outside of you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the Round Rock area with a $500,000 budget? You're moving because your family is coming from California, and you've heard about the good schools there, right?
Okay, perfect. Right.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you can think of that you expect from us that we haven't covered yet?
So far, so good.
Now, let's talk about your schedule and next steps. Because we have our elite buyer team, we can completely work on your schedule. What does your availability generally look like to go and look at homes?
Usually free after 4 p.m. I mean, if it's great, if it's a great house that I'm really interested, I can make time for it at any time. Just let me know in advance. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. What do your weekends usually look like?
Usually, take the kids out for, morning to the park, and probably free after, say, probably 3.
Okay, great. Now, what's the best way to communicate with you? Do you prefer phone calls, text, emails, all of them?
All of them. I do prefer a phone call, since it's a lot easier, more efficient.
Okay, fantastic. Just so we know your preferred method of communication.
Okay.
Great. Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of how a purchase actually works, I want to let you know that one of the reasons we get so many referrals is because our clients value our honesty and commitment. We have a legal and ethical commitment to you to disclose all the information you want and all the information you need to make the best educated decision throughout this entire process. This is not just a transaction for us. We built this business by valuing every relationship that we have with our clients, whether you buy one or you buy 100 properties. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Great. Now let's get started. So the first step in the process is actually deciding to buy a house. So congratulations, you've done that. The next step is hiring the right team to get you there, us. And now it's putting a strategy in place with us. The first part of that strategy is figuring out the money. That's the budget, the down payment, cash expenses, and the mortgage. We have trusted lenders that we work with and we know that do a fantastic job. Do you have any lender relationships that you would like to explore as well?
I haven't really started, just kind of looking in the marketplace, but I mean, I definitely consider your options.
Okay, great. It's fine if you don't have a great one. You'll need to get a pre-approval. We have plenty of those, plenty of lenders that we can refer you to. You will need to get a pre-approval with one of those lenders, which will then help with the budget, with down payment and your monthly mortgage, and make all of that make sense. It's also required to have a pre-approval letter from a known lender when you make an offer. The pre-approval letter takes about 20 or 30 minutes. Now, once you understand the money part of it and you're comfortable with it, then we can go shopping.
Like that.
Yeah. So we have at this point your goal list. We know your schedule. You've hired us. You're pre-approved with the lender. Now we buy a home. And this is what the process of finding a house can look like. We're going to start with really broad parameters and use the process of elimination to start narrowing things down. The power of saying no is the most important part of this process. Remember that we value honesty. So as we drive through neighborhoods and we walk through homes, please give me your honest feedback. It will not offend me. It only helps me serve you better. Sound good?
Yes.
Great. So once we narrow it down to the top 1 or 2, the team will then start digging into the house, discovering and uncovering everything about the property that we can find. So that's going to include disclosures, zoning, permits, flood maps, schools. We'll also find out what the seller's situation and motivation for selling the home is. Once we have all of that information and we do our thorough analysis and you decide that you want to buy the house, then we'll craft the offer. Any questions about this so far?
So far, so good.
All right, fantastic. All right, guys. Now that your offer has been accepted, you'll be responsible for writing several checks within 3 days. Earnest money is your first one. It's generally between 1% and 5% of the purchase price. It is held in a trust account at the title company and it's part of your down payment. The next one is your option period check, and it can range anywhere from $100 to thousands of dollars, just depending on market situation and the seller's motivation. Option period ranges from 1 to 7 days. This is what allows you to terminate the contract and protect your earnest money. This option period is when you do your inspections, and inspections will generally run you about $500. Any additional inspections will be at an additional cost. We'll cover these subjects more thoroughly throughout the process. Again, please ask questions.
That's very clear. Thank you. In today's market, I do hear that, does it to be, I guess, on the competitive edge, is there a number for, maybe earnest money or maybe option periods, time frame, things like that, that'll help me
Sure.
secure a house? Yeah.
Sure. So in general, I usually give two different scenarios. One is we are in a situation where we're not up against any other offers. And then at that point, my recommendation is probably going to be to go at 1% earnest money and probably about a $500 option for 3 days, 4 days, something along those lines. If we're up against 8 other offers, there's going to be a different recommendation there, right? We may be doing a higher earnest money amount, but where you're really going to get the most amount of traction is in that option period. So at that point, we may discover that there are offers that have really accelerated, 12%, 15% over ask. We know that we're up against a highly competitive market at that point. And so we may go into the $2,000 range. We may go into the $4,000 range. We've gone as high as $23,000 for a specified period of time. So, and we want to keep those option days short. So usually between 2 and 4 days is where we want to stay. Does that make sense?
Very clear. Thank you.
Okay, so it's just going to depend what seller situation and motivation is. Okay, so now that we've reviewed the steps, you've met us, you've hired us, we've hunted for a house, you've made an offer, it's been accepted, you've done the inspections, the hard part is over. Now the lender will start finalizing the loan. You will need to stay as close to them as possible and answer any information requests as quickly as possible. Our team is in constant communication with you, with the lender, and with the title company to make sure that everyone is staying on track. The appraisal is one of the final steps in the mortgage approval process. The appraisal is paid for by you, but it is ordered by your lender as part of the property underwriting process. The bank uses this third-party appraisal to confirm what market value is. Before we make an offer on a house, we are going to have some deep conversations about the appraisal and the many potential outcomes. This is another place to ask questions because there are so many different scenarios. Any questions on that?
Not at all. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we have at
Hey,
this.
hold on a second. Does
Yeah.
anybody have any questions about that? The appraisal is kind of a big deal right now.
Yep.
Anybody?
Okay, I guess I can ask, what happens if the appraisal comes at a lower price offer?
That is a fantastic question. So there are a lot of different scenarios here. So just for instance, let's say your budget is $450, right? And we find a house that's on the market for $400. We decide that we're going to go in at $425. We're going to start having conversations based on the comparables in the area where we think that is going to fall, right? Is it going to fall at $400 and you're going to have to make up the $25,000 difference? Or do we think that it's going to be closer to that $425? I am very conservative with my numbers. And so I try to be as informative as possible so that you know what to prepare for. But again, an appraiser is a third-party person and somebody that we do not have control over. and very, very little influence over, if any at all. And so we do want to make sure that we're preparing for worst case scenario, that, you know, the appraiser comes out of nowhere with a very low appraisal value. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
So there's a question on explain appraisal waivers. We can do that now. We can do that at the end.
We can talk, can we also talk about escalation clauses?
No.
Uh-uh. No, we cannot.
I don't believe in those. I'm a listing agent and I freaking hate them. But thanks for asking. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. We can talk about them. Yes. So an appraisal waiver, there are 3 different pieces of the actual appraisal waiver. The first one is giving you the opportunity to completely waive the appraisal, which means you are not relying on your third-party financing addendum to be able to back out of the contract. The second piece is giving you the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We have the additional $25,000 to be able to pay towards this home, but what we don't have is any more than that. That's our max. So at that point, we have the opportunity to go in and say, you know what, we will do an appraisal waiver, but we're going to do it at that 400 mark because we're not going to be able to come up with the we're not going to be able to come up with the finances in order to make up any more of a difference. Now, I will tell you the full appraisal waiver is the preference, and it pretty much is the standard at this point. But if we have to make an adjustment to that and you don't feel like we're going to be able to go any higher than that, then we definitely want to do at least a partial appraisal waiver.
Okay.
All of that makes sense?
It does. It is a lot, but I do understand.
It definitely is a lot. And we are going to cover this issue and all of these other issues multiple times throughout the process, because we want to make sure that you are very well educated to make the best educated decision that you can.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. So at this point, we have successfully met. You have hired us. We have hunted, offered, negotiated, inspected, finalized, scheduled movers and utilities. We've made the announcement. You've made the announcement to your friends and family. And now we have closed. This is where we are going to ask you if we have earned a referral and a 5-star review from you. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Perfect. So Adon, another reason that people love us is because of our network of vendors and services that we provide during and beyond closing. In order for a vendor to be put on our list, they have to do great quality work, stand behind their work, and charge a fair price. From designers, movers, architects, builders, handymen, pet sitters, house sitters, landscapers, lawyers, CPAs, HR, anybody. We have been plugged in for nearly 25 years in Austin, and we've even helped people get jobs. So we encourage you to take advantage of us.
Okay.
A little bit about how we get paid. So we only get paid when you buy a house. This happens at closing and it comes out of the purchase price. It does not come out of your pocket. If you don't buy a house, we don't get paid. And also to let you know, we also work with for sell by owners and new home construction builders for you.
Okay.
Again, Adon, please ask questions. As I shared with you in the beginning, this is a lot of information, and I want you to feel comfortable that you can ask questions often. If I don't have the answer, then we'll get the whole team involved to figure it out. Sound good?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Perfect. So these are all the reasons why you'll hire us. Now, I can't do any of this unless I work for you. Do you have any questions for me before I send over the buyer representation agreement?
Not right now.
But you don't want to sign my buyer rep? No?
I will look into it.
Don, you say, I don't want to sign your buyer. Why do I need to sign it?
Oh, okay. Why do I need to sign your buyer's representation agreement?
Well, Adon, this agreement allows me to negotiate on your behalf and to have legal and fiduciary duties to you to disclose all the information you want and all the information you need to help you make the best educated decision and get you the best deal. Without it, you don't have that legal and ethical commitment from an agent. I know how important trusting someone is. This agreement ensures that I am committed to you. Are you okay with that?
That makes sense. Yes. Sorry, I almost forgot. As a buyer, I almost forgot I was a buyer at some point.
Leslie, how long do you, what if like we get 2 months into it and it's not like we're struggling?
Yeah, Adon, I completely understand that. And I would never want you to be in something that you are not happy with. Of course, I absolutely want your feedback. I told you earlier in the conversation that honesty is really important to me. So, any kind of feedback you have, I absolutely want to hear it and be able to provide the level of service that you deserve throughout this process. But at the end of the day, if this doesn't work for you, that's okay. All you have to do is send me an email, let me know. I'm not going to hold you to something that you're not happy in.
Okay. Is there a timeline for this agreement?
Absolutely. So the initial agreement goes on for 6 months. So it will be in there starting today and it'll carry on for the next 6 months.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Well, Adon, thank you so much again for your time today. I will be sending out a list of homes to you from here. I'll be sending our lenders over to you as we discussed. So your homework is going to be to get started on that process and also to start giving me some feedback on the homes that I'm sending over to you. Sound good?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, perfect. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. That's it. Questions, comments?
Guys, unmute yourselves and visit with us a little bit. We have like, so Leslie, you want to tell them like how many buyer, like how often you're doing this presentation, how many like
Yeah.
different jobs and careers and like, and then like your success rates like out of this world. So like maybe talk more about that because what she just went through, y'all, is the simple, clear to understand version, and it's open for them asking. There's so much to unpack in that, and I'll let Leslie do it.
Yeah, guys, this is and some of our buyer agents can chime in here too. This has probably a 8 out of 10 success rate to it. And the other two are probably just people that aren't quite ready yet. But it is extremely powerful. It covers a lot of things. A lot of people get into this, even if they've purchased homes in the past. We have so much feedback come back that people are just like, whoa, I never knew that. No one has ever explained that to me. I've never, and people don't know what they don't know, right? So when you're opening up the opportunity for them to ask questions and to start discovering things about this transaction and how in depth it's going to be, you're setting expectations up front, all of those things, it creates the beginning. We are incredibly blessed to have an operations department that is out of this world. So our customer service from setting these expectations from the beginning and having these kinds of conversations all the way through the end, we have created raving fans as far as our company goes. So, I mean, absolutely, if y'all have questions about any of this or like don't understand a piece of it or any of that kind of stuff, we would love to hear from you.
Thanks, Stacy. I guess I'll be I know I was a really simple buyer, but what's it usually when you do the presentation? How often do you see the time from the presentation for the buyer? I know it varies with buyers, but do you find that they have a lot of like questions that goes over like a good hour of information or?
Yep, truly does usually last about 40 minutes. Sometimes it'll take an hour to go through. But I will tell you this, when I first started this, we did not have this thing, and it has saved on the other end of the transaction hours of asking questions, hours and hours, and late at night, like people worried about stuff and all this kind, just, it was just constant dealing with all this stuff up front and being transparent about what's going on here. It is a huge, you may spend 1 hour right here, but I guarantee you it probably saves you 5 to 10 hours on the other side.
That makes sense. Thanks.
And it makes, like, when you go to make the offer, they're already armed with the information. So you're not like the first one, you're like surprising them with, oh, I need a $30,000 check from you, and you're not going to worry about appraisals. And, you've prepped them for that so they can think about it and they can mull it over overnight or whatever, instead of just being shocked by everything they have to give up right now to get a house.
And I will also add that the wording inside of this is so, it's so genius, because when you're going back and forth with the buyer over something, I cannot tell you how many times I revisit. My job is to make sure that you are well educated so that you can make the best educated decision and get the best deal possible, right? Like, every piece of this has been put in there on purpose so that as we're having these conversations, I'm reverting back to things that they've heard before. I'm reverting back. And it triggers. Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Right? And I'm doing what I said I was going to do. I said that I was going to do this, and I'm delivering on my promise right now. So I'm saying again, I'm delivering on my promise. Does all that make sense?
Yeah. Leslie, I have a quick question. I just wanted to ask you, first off, I wanted to compliment that is so complete, and everything is from beginning to end so well orchestrated and done. I mean, I'm just sitting here in awe of the whole thing. So I appreciate that. But I did want to ask you if you're doing this virtually, or do you do it one-on-one?
Both. We do
Okay.
both. Yeah. If we do it one-on-one, we still do put it up on a TV, and do it, with them sitting right there, which it works perfect both ways. It is not, because again, it is a conversation. The visuals are just to retain the information, because that's how we work as people, right? But yes, we definitely do both.
Thank you so much.
That's it. These are great questions, y'all. How many times did you say when you hire us, or you'll have hired us by now?
I think we have that like six. I think we have it like six or seven times throughout the whole thing. And then it's just plastered up there.
Right. Some people call that embedded command. Some people call it brainwashing. Some people just call it leadership.
Whatever it is, it works.
Yeah, it's a really good presentation. I've been in the industry a long time, and I just love watching it be, canned up. So good job, guys.
Oh, Dino, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yes,
Dina,
ma'am.
is this Dina?
Hey, I'm coming for the morsels of wisdom from the Clay Burn team, so I can bring it back.
Yeah, that's the Dina Davis.
It is, right? With the signs all down Brody.
That's me.
Yes, girl. You're rocking it.
Thanks. You guys are rocking it too. I've been watching you guys.
It's been a journey. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
We also at the end there, the bonus script that we were talking about, the I don't want to sign your buyer rep agreement. That's like the 3 or 4 or 5 sentences, whatever it is. I'm going to give it to you here in a minute. But guys, that is like, we train our agents from the very beginning to learn that, because it's what a buyer's agent job is. And when you can succinctly say what your job is to a client, they want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because 95% or 98%, I know people I work out with that have been doing this forever still don't ask for buyer rep agreements. And it's a travesty in this market, because buyers need to know that they're working with someone they can trust, and knows what they're talking about. And it's a total shift that's going on right now, because there's never been a better time for a buyer, real estate agent or buyer agent or listing agent to prove their worth. these consumers, these clients, these people out there looking for home need a buyer agent to guide them to the promised land.
Mhm.
And if you can clearly explain what your job is in 4 or 5 sentences, then they're going to be like, no one's ever done that before. How many times has that happened to you guys, Julia and Cody and Leslie, Tammy? Like, it's just a mic drop moment. Like, I got this.
Yep.
I know what I'm doing. I got you. Right.
Yep. It is.
So we're going to give that to you. It's got my logo on it. So you're going to have to retype it, which is good for you because it'll make you learn it more.
Mhm.
Or our logo, excuse me. But these are like these little and notice also it's not like an hour and a half long. I mean, it's literally if you just sit there and you practice it over and over and over, you can come practice it with us. My guys need to practice it too. It's like 10, 11 minutes. And you just learn how to do it, and you learn, and we'll help you with embedded commands and lowering your voice and like all these things that make you sound more professional and confident.
Mhm.
Consumers really value confidence from their salesperson.
Especially
knowledge
right now.
Especially right now. They need leaders.
Yep.
So you guys, you can like these tools, especially now because you probably got buyer leads coming out of your yin yang, right? And like you can, like when you can clearly explain it, and it will help you. The 24 questions that we're going to give you also, we can. I don't think we included that, but we can. Like that'll help you figure out their motivation and what they're looking for, and like if it's an even possibility, right? Because if you find out like what they write down, what the things that they want, you're like, whoa, that was 2 years ago, or we need to like we can do that, but it's over here, not here, right? It helps you. It helps you be more efficient. It helps you not like start hating your job.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because you want to feel successful too, right? And then you want to feel like, okay, these people hired me. They legitimately hired me. So now I can go do what I do best. That's find a deal, negotiate, and rock and roll. That all make sense?
It really does.
You guys have any questions? I'm excited that y'all are on here. We do this for free. This is free stuff. Like this, I don't think teach this crap in school. Like they don't teach you this stuff. How do I be a buyer's agent? I don't know. Go figure it out. Good luck. Just make sure you know what this term means.
That's
How many
true.
judges are elected to the council or whatever it is? Give me a break.
Hey Clay, I'm kind of new in the game. I started in mid-January, so I just had a question regarding leads. My brokerage offers Opcity. I just started. I mean, I know it's a platform, but do they have buyer leads as well, or is it just a listing
I mean,
for that?
listings are great because listings turn into buyers, you know, with the sign calls. I mean, there's like a lot of numbers in there, but like wherever you are, if you're getting handed like here's some leads and things like that, your job's to follow up and scrub those things and talk to people and wear them out until you get a yes or a no, or leave me alone, or all right, fine, I finally submit, I'll meet with you. And then you drop this presentation on them and they're like, oh man, this is awesome. Thank God I said yes. But whatever leads you're getting, wherever you are, whatever broker you're at, like you got to knock that stuff out. Like you can't, people like to say the leads are no good. That's not it. It's the follow-ups no good. It takes like up to eight follow-ups or 12 follow-ups to get people to actually, like that's an industry standard. You got to ask 6 or 7 times for business of people that you don't know for them to start to say yes. That's an industry standard. Sales is the contact sport, y'all. You've got to stay in communication with people and you got to be consistent and persistent about it and be happy because it's an amazing opportunity. You're in an unlimited income potential industry. Like you can make as much money, more money than you could ever dream possible. But don't give up.
How do you keep following up without being annoying?
They'll tell you when you're annoying, then do it again. When they tell you to not ever call them again. Yeah. But right, like you think you're annoying them, you're not communicating enough.
Yeah.
And if they tell you you're being pushy, then you know that that's what they feel. If they don't tell you that, then you're just guessing and making it up. Like you've got to just knock that. That's a limiting belief. You just got to knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know this number, 86% of the people that get into real estate fail after 2 years because there's the top 5% of people have mastered following up with people and not believing this garbage. I only say it's garbage. It's not, I'm not saying you're garbage. I'm just saying like, those are limiting beliefs. You've got to like get that stuff out of your head or, you know, Leslie's going to come take them away from you.
Yeah. Because that is not, I cannot tell you how many people have called and said, because you're the one that keeps following up, right? It's like the famous last words. Because you're the one that keeps, like, I'll be the one that keeps.
Yeah. Did y'all know? Y'all listen to this. I just heard this over the weekend. 121 million real estate leads were sold last year. There were 12 million transactions. That means one lead was sold to 10 different people. You have to follow up.
And quickly.
Yeah. Can you believe that? One lead was sold to 12. You pay like $95 for these things, or sometimes like Zillow. Good grief, they're like $450 for a lead.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Some of the aggregators take like 30% of your commission, right? So like you're doing all that stuff, like you got to follow up, man. And you got to be like excited because the consumers are listening to your voice. Can you believe that? Zillow's selling their leads 10 times. Jerks. For whoever uses Zillow. OpCity, I mean, like same thing.
I will say I felt the same way whenever I first started, of like I'm being annoying, and then a few times it proved to me that people listen to the voicemails whether or not they respond. And I remember I followed up with this guy I met at my very first open house. I probably left him 5 voicemails over few months, and then randomly one Saturday he called me and was like, let's go. So
Yep.
And y'all did.
so
Yep. It works.
This is my favorite.
Leslie, do you negotiate your commission?
No, I do not. No. Any more questions? Did somebody ask that question?
They did.
And at least that's a common question. And the answer is
The answer is no. Any more questions? Like I told you in the buyer presentation, guys, and this is true. Like our mission, vision, and values, we share that with our clients. My heart here is to provide these people. Oh my gosh, there's so much to be said here. I provide these people with a world-class customer experience. This is not just a transaction for me. Everything that these people need from us that we can possibly provide, we do, right? I am going to go above and beyond. I am going to work harder than anyone has ever worked for you. And I know that about myself. Those are promises that I can make to you because I know I'm going to follow through with that. I have shown you in our buyer presentation all the people that are working behind the scenes to make this stuff happen for you. So no, I'm not gonna skimp anybody involved in this transaction because I want all of them working towards providing you world-class customer experience. All of them.
And if you're asking us to reduce our commission, that means we don't know how to negotiate for ourselves, which means you can't feel good about us negotiating for you. And you're telling me it's okay to do a junky job, and I don't know how to do a junky job.
Yeah.
So if you want a discount broker, an intern with a laptop or an iPad or whatever guiding you through this process, good luck.
Yep. And I have told a lot of people that, and not one of them has left. Not one. In fact, the last person I told that to referred his brother right away, and we just closed him today. So yeah, no, there's no reason to do that. Ever. Unless it's your mama.
Yeah, these are great. These are great questions.
Leslie, I don't think I would do it for my mom. Do it honestly.
And like,
I'd be like, sorry.
it's your mama.
Yeah. Mom, you're supposed to be helping me out.
Yeah.
How about 4%? You guys are amazing. All right, you want to know where all this stuff is hidden? Okay. Let me share my screen. Basic. Google Chrome. Hopefully that's not weird. Nope, nothing weird. You guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so Bernie-careers.com. Go all the way over here. Career event. Go all the way to the bottom. Be cool if you read everything. There they are. There and there.
I do.
The questionnaire, Bailey, are you here still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, can you throw the buyer questionnaire up there also?
Yeah.
Stick a logo on it though, so they have to retype it and actually learn it.
Mhm.
Oh, and then we have also like pre-qualification questions. Throw that up there too. The pre-qualification questions, guys, the more you internalize this stuff, the more confident you're going to sound when you're doing it. And when you sound like you're not reading it off a tuna can, like you're going to be like, people are going to believe you and they're going to feel the confidence, right? And what's really great about the pre-qualification questions, if you internalize those, then you're automatically qualifying people constantly. Like when you go to the doctor and they're like, fill this out, you're like, I did this already, right? But they're just asking you these questions because they need to know, you need to know these things. You need to figure out, like, can I help them? Do they need help? Or like, is it realistic? Do we need to guide them through some processes? It's amazing stuff. It's such, it turns the process and makes it so easy. And you're not looking over your shoulder all the time, wondering like when the other shoe is going to drop about something because you didn't ask a question, right? You got the buyer rep agreement signed, you pre-qualified them, you know all their stuff. Like it just makes it so much easier. So much easier. You see that? I forgot y'all were watching. Y'all see that? So we're gonna add the pre-qual and the questionnaire. I'm being generous today. Those are the keys to the kingdom right there. But you gotta do it, and you're better off the more you like internalize it, practice it. And if you want to practice with us, we do it every morning. Like jump in and we'll be happy to like help you out because there's a lot of like the way you speak and present. Communication is like 7% the words you speak, like 55% of your tonality and things like that. The other part of it's body language. But when you're Zooming, not everybody can see that, or you're talking on the phone, right? But your tonality is a big deal when you're communicating. And we can give you some tips and tricks if you want them. Anything else? Something? Y'all still watching?
Yeah.
Tonality tips, please. Have you ever heard somebody speaking and they say, hey, I really like your red shoes. Could you please clean your room? And they go up. Makes you like, is that a question? Or is there like, right? Or if you said, like you kids, you do this all the time, right? Hey, go clean your room. Buy this house. That's a downtone.
Say yes.
Say yes. Sign the agreement. Don't ask any more questions. I'm just kidding. But you like practice that like on your spouse, right? Hey, it's your turn to take out the trash. Take out the trash. Like try these things out on people. But there's a difference between when you upstroke it, when you downstroke it. When you downstroke it, you sound professional. You sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound like you're the I don't know, you're the pro. Right? But when you're bouncing around, you're like, do you really want to go through that gate? Right? Do you want to buy this house? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It doesn't inspire confidence. Like take a shower. And just try that. I mean, just like, and then there's also like the embedded commands, like we talked about earlier in the buyer presentation. When you hire us, you'll hire us. Hire us after you've hired us. When you hire us, then you're future pacing a lot of that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
More pro, saves you time. Those are the two I'll give you today, Mary Lynn. Anything else? You're welcome. This is so cool. Look at all y'all. You know what's great about this? Like the guy, you guys are doing your like you're curious about how to be better at what you're signed up to do, right? And the people that fail at this, they're not like improving their station. They're not like trying to educate themselves and do more for themselves and get stuff, free stuff, items of value. Like the people that will go and take the time to educate themselves, because I promise you, we deal with them like everybody else that's not successful. They're not doing this. They're not seeking out from other people to get time-tested tips and education and information on how to be a better real estate agent. So you're already better than the 86% of people that don't make it, just for being here. Good for you. Proud of you. And I mean it. So that's it. If you don't have any more questions, I mean, I gotta go play with my kids. I think we're building Venom.
Clay,
Thank you so much for hosting us. It was a really great presentation. I learned a lot and some great leadership here at the Claiborne team.
You're the best.
Hey, Clay, really quick question. Did you say that you were gonna just also do the pre-qual questions as well as something else? I think I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think Bailey, she'll either get it posted this afternoon or tomorrow on that website. It's the pre-qualification questions, and those are the questions like when somebody calls in on something or you're following up with leads. Those are the questions you need to get answers to.
Right.
Okay. And then there's the questionnaire. You say, all right, well, I'm going to send you a questionnaire. You're going to fill this out. What's your dream list? So you got like, what's their motivation? What they want? You're going to convince them to hire you. And then what's the other thing? Oh, they're like, I don't want to sign your rep agreement.
Yeah.
Explaining what your value is to the equation.
You had mentioned something about 24 questions, 24. What was that referring to?
Yeah, that's the buyer. It's the buyer questionnaire, 24-point buyer questionnaire. That'll be up there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for all this.
Welcome, Melissa. Anything else, guys? I'll see y'all sitting there. You want to ask me some questions? Fire away.
That's it for me, Clay. Thank you so much again. Thank you guys. Thank you, Leslie.
You're a great volunteer. Thanks, Adon.
Don. Yeah, that was awesome.
I tried. Thanks.
Y'all were
All right.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I hope to see you guys out there. Let me know if when you bring us an offer on our listings, let us know that you're on this. We'll treat you nicer.
Maybe.
It's a joke to you buyer agents. Yeah.
Yeah, you're funny.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. All right, guys. We'll talk with y'all later.
Bye.
If you want to talk, call us.